There's a little bit of an echo there. Okay. Is that on your end or is that on my end?
No.
And we facilitated that withdrawal on Joe Biden.
There we go. Hold on.
Not sure,
Sorry,
Shane.
guys, for the technical difficulties. Let's go ahead. And
I just
open
turned
the-
my audio down.
Okay. I had videos playing in the background. All right, everybody.
And I think that given the circumstances,
Hold on. I'm going to start this video.
I just turned my audio
and I
down.
think that given the circumstances, the best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to governing. And therefore, that's what I'll do.
I think you have the YouTube open with volume on. Because I don't anymore.
You're right. I do. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I just turned the audio off. Sorry.
Okay, what is this? This is Cuomo resigning, which was such a wonderful day for all of New York.
I do. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I just turned the audio off. Sorry.
Okay, what is this? This is Cuomo resigning, which was such a wonderful day for all of New York. Sorry, everybody. 1 second.
It's my fault. I apologize. I had the YouTube window open and I didn't turn the volume down.
That's okay.
Blame
Welcome
me.
everybody.
Everyone else does.
Exactly. Welcome everybody to KRTD News.
Sweet new intro, Shane.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
Looks good.
We got Jimmy to thank. She made that today, believe it or not.
You got a talented young lady there on a lot of levels. That looks great.
I think so too. So we got a couple stories. So you notice we started with that Cuomo video because we're going to be talking about Cuomo. Also, there's a poll in the chat, everybody. Is Cuomo responsible for killing people?
Oh,
Please
I'm
fill out
all
the
over it.
poll. Yes or no?
I voted before the show started. Hey, can you run the Cuomo video again though? Since I ruined your intro with hearing what he said.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that given the circumstances, the best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back.
The
to
best
government.
way he could help would be to
And
jump
therefore,
off a
that's what I'll do.
cliff. Don Cuomo, this is what we should call him. He's the new Teflon Don of New York. This guy,
Yeah.
Shane, this mother effer, that he can get away with all of the deaths in those nursing homes because of his negligence, that he can get away with the serial sexual predator allegations that he has been accused of, that he can not be prosecuted for any of this shit that he did while he was governor, using the staff to write that book to enrich himself, just shows how utterly, transparently, and what's irredeemably corrupt the neoliberal democratic establishment is, not just in New York, but nationwide. This guy is a piece of shit. He will never be held accountable other than the brief shame he suffered when he had to resign. And he's going to walk scot-free. Scot-free.
He might run again. He might run for president.
Sure he will. Of course he will, because his ego won't disallow him from running again. Because a slap on the wrist means it's okay. Rules for thee, not for me. You don't have any kind of accountability. Well, look, we're not seeing any kind of accountability with the kind of a separate story. We weren't talking about it tonight. But it reminds me of the Ghislaine Maxwell verdict, where she's been found guilty, but that black book's going to stay closed. All those guys who were engaging in pedophilia and the trafficking, that book's going to stay closed. No one's going to know who those people are. Only Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be held accountable because she was Epstein's boyfriend. Meanwhile, those serial predators, those serial pedophiles, everybody in a position of power is going to continue to get away with everything they get away with. This relates to so many of the stories we're talking about tonight, not only with Cuomo, I think it also is going to apply very much with what we talk about with the Gary Gensler story, with hedge funds, Cuomo, everything we're covering.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Maxwell Fall Guy, second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall Guy. Yeah. Well, that's what it. Here's the thing. They don't allow certain cases that involve these high profile people to get very far. They can't prosecute, like when Trump's lawyer got arrested or when Hillary Clinton's lawyer got arrested, it ended with them. It didn't go any further. And I'm sure both of those lawyers knew a hell of a lot about what was happening between Trump and between Clinton and their corrupt dealings, but they weren't going to allow those things to come out. Because the more they let come out, the more powerful people get charged, and then the whole house of cards.
The entire government will collapse. Mm-hmm. If you were a prosecutor worth your salt and had any ounce of integrity beyond the show trial to put somebody away, since Epstein was killed, to shut him up, and we know he was killed. I mean, there's no question what happened there. I'm not even going to say allegedly. We know what happened there. I mean, that's how emboldened the establishment is. They don't care how obvious it is. They're going to do it anyway. A prosecutor would say, "Okay, so let's look at that book and let's start connecting some dots and let's start making some arrests and prosecuting some of these people." And damn, if the news cycle happens to pick up on who these pedophiles and sex trafficking clients are, too bad for them. But no. Because they are so ingrained like ticks in a wall in our upper government and power that everything would fall down. And would that really be a bad thing though, to start from scratch? I would say, it certainly is a better alternative to my other solution, which is torches, pitchforks, and guillotines.
Yes, absolutely. So we have Amber here who says, as a certified nursing assistant who has worked in nursing homes, Cuomo will burn in hell for condemning many elderly people to die simply from poor policies. It's criminal. It's definitely criminal.
Yeah, Amberly, it is. It's tragic. It's heartbreaking. It's so many things, and this fucker is just going to walk away from it.
He is. And we need to hold him accountable, but they'll never let us do it. Like in New York, we have the Attorney General doing this, saying she's doing something on it, and then she also says that she's doing something on Trump. It's a game to her. She's playing games, and she's pretending she's going after these people. But I don't really see a lot of stuff being done. I just see her every once in a while talking, hey, we're doing these things.
What's interesting to me about how New York is pursuing Trump, I don't watch his channel anymore. I used to enjoy Christo Avalos out of Canada until he just became he's got Trump derangement syndrome, where his YouTube channel is all Trump prosecution all the time. And every video he releases is the prosecutors have got Trump by the balls. Trump's kids are ratting him out. Trump was crying in the street. And it's just like, I'm not hearing about any of the Trump prosecution stuff on regular mainstream media. And maybe that is because they're just trying to keep attention off of Trump so that, he doesn't get his supporters rallying around him again. Although I don't think that would stop him to run again next presidential election cycle. But, are the prosecutors, do they really have any kind of a tight case against Trump in New York? And is it for show, or do they, if they really want to go after him and nail it shut, it's clearly for political reasons, since if you're a Cuomo and you're a Democrat, doesn't matter.
Right. But they really need to go after Andrew Cuomo for what he did, and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and all of these people, but they're never going to do it. But getting back to Cuomo, I remember the story, and I think you were actually on here when we covered it. You might have been, or it may have been months before that you were doing this, but he had threatened a state rep or a state senator, I forget, Ron Kim, who's supposedly a progressive in the New York legislature, somewhat progressive. But anyway, he had come out, he had said something about the nursing home scandal. And Andrew Cuomo called him in the middle of the night and said, "You're going to make an retraction immediately, or else."
Or else.
Like,
Just like a gangster. I mean, this guy Look, Trump ran the presidency like a gangster. So did Cuomo run as governor of New York. So did he rule or lead he
Yeah.
as an untouchable mafia character.
he did. And he called this guy in the middle of the night. He threatened him. And Ron Kim didn't back down. And you know what happened? He started feeding information to reporters about a vote Ron Kim took 5 years ago or something, that he didn't vote very well or whatever it was. And I'm like, I don't agree with Ron Kim on the way he voted. I don't even remember what it was about, but I'm like, it's no coincidence that they had released that story at the same time when Ron Kim crossed Cuomo. It's not a coincidence. It's not. Ron Kim, my assemblyman. Yeah. He's good. But I don't think it's a coincidence. Cuomo's a gangster.
Yeah, he is.
It's disgusting. That's not how you're supposed to. Well, that's politics for you.
Well, it's standard operating procedure now in not just the Democratic Party, but the Republican Party. I mean, it's funny. It's not funny. It's pathetic, but we tend to focus more on the Democrats because we want to clean our house and hold them accountable. We don't have to shed light on the Republicans because they so often shed light on how scummy they are. They're honest about their villainy. Democrats, they tell you they're your friend in your face and then they stab you in the back. At least the Republicans are honest about who they are and they stab you like standing right in front of you. So I don't know which is worse.
Well, you know what? Maybe the Republicans are better because at least they tell you how shitty they are and they don't lie to you.
You know, one of the things it may have been when we were on the New Year's Day show. I'm sorry, the KRTD show. Was it New Year's Eve or New Year's? It was New Year's Day. Oh, it was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. That's right. I'm losing track of all the broadcasts. Perhaps the solution is we stop talking about the Democrats and we stop talking about the Republicans, and all of a third-party independent progressive media should just start focusing on third-party candidates if we can find them and giving them the platforms that they need, because no matter how much bitching we do about the Democrats or the Republicans or encourage people to go out and vote against the Democrats without really elevating the third-party candidates or building that third-party structure, I just feel like we're spitting in the wind.
We are. The other thing is these third parties are not always not always open to new strategies. I had a run-in with the guy who runs our local Green Party, and I had proposed new ideas, and he said to me, "We've been doing the same thing for 30 years, and we're going to keep doing the same thing for the next 30.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that it doesn't work. And these third parties are going to have to start to realize that if they don't adjust their strategies, because yes, the whole deck is stacked against them, but they've been using the same playbook for the last 30 years. They need a new playbook because there are no favors being done for them in our political system. If they don't adjust their playbook, they're going to keep losing, and they're not even going to have a small shot.
No, and as I often say, and sorry, people may have heard me say this before, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but, win or lose, the Democrats will be sitting on their fat asses after they lose. Send us money. Trump. We have to take out Trump. Send us money so we can take him out. Right now, I'm getting all the fundraising money from the fundraising emails from Nancy Pelosi on how they've got to defeat this person, that person. Now, what's his name? The guy in the yacht, the senator, the
Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin. Yeah, Joe Manchin. He's the boogeyman now. Kirsten Sinema. By the way, I have a new nickname for Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
She's Ronald Reagan in a wig.
Well,
he looks like him, and obviously by the way that she worships him and legislates like him as a Republican light, she's clearly Ronald Reagan in a wig.
Well, the president she quoted most on the campaign trail was Ronald Reagan.
Have you got it?
The video? I think I do. I'm going to pull it up. Well, You keep go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find, I mean, I didn't know if you had it just
I
in
do
your
have
video library. Okay, yeah, I just think
you wanna address
after
the chat, and I'm gonna grab that.
yeah after she went up yesterday with the histrionics about January 6th. I just realized she really likes to perform the way Ronald Reagan does. She kind of looks like him. I wonder if Ronnie never really died. He just put on a wig and is serving as Nancy now.
Definitely. I'm going to grab that. If you want to
Okay.
address the chat really quickly, I'm going to.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see what we got going on in the chat here. I don't know that I can share comments here, but E. Heller, F the Democratic Corp. Tell them to send us money, relief checks. Damn straight. And E. Heller is my colleague from Hardlens Media, Chicago Corner. Good to see you in the chat, Ed. Holly Horn, Reagan and drag. Nancy, Sam Hollenbeck. Nancy can't stop talking about Reagan. We need a meme. Lana Dell hates the clock says Nancy with a Reagan hairdo. Haha. Oh, it's good to see so many familiar faces here now. So yeah, and I guess we're going to be talking a little bit about the January 6th histrionics in a later story after we move on from Cuomo and the story we were going to do on, or the coverage we were going to do on Gary Gensler, claiming that the SEC wants to protect retail investors under all of the crimes being committed by literally under light of day for the past year. What's going on in the chat here? Let's see here. If Republicans don't have to lie about their votes, they've already gerrymandered a favorable outcome from Eminence Front. Let's see. Going back to our story on Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, Sandy Degg, everyone involved in this are perverted and needs to go to jail. But they won't. So, anyway. Any luck finding it, Shane?
I'm having a problem loading.
Don't worry about it. You know, maybe I can find it from my end. Hang on. Let me see if I can upload it from my side because I think I know where to find it.
Okay. That'll be
Yeah. Actually, I should have offered that to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Because on my desktop, I have a folder and it's called Current Events. And in this folder, I have file folder topics. And every time I find a good meme or about a political individual or about a news story, I will create a folder. And I've got a whole lot of stuff in my Pelosi folder. So let's see, where is she here? Hey, Ward Your Entertainment's in the chat.
Oh, wow.
We got the Sunday morning. We got, is this the one? Well, I'll find it. Stand by. It'll be loaded shortly.
So, yeah, this is disgusting how, what's going on with Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo, too. The entire Cuomo.
Well, thank God he lost his job. I mean, I really didn't think, I thought CNN was going to reassign him. I really thought that he was Teflon, but thankfully, at least Fredo there got shot in the head, metaphorically, unless some other network picks him up and thinks he's some kind of an asset. All right. I got Ronald Reagan in a wig saved there in the backstage area. I don't know if you can play it. There you go. There we go.
When President Reagan was president, it anchored itself in the words of Ronald Reagan. And I always like quoting Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush. Let us remember what President Reagan said. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. And in the case of Ronald Reagan, I mean, every president we've had, Ronald Reagan was great. And President Ronald Reagan, he said it so beautifully. President Reagan was absolutely great. Beautiful speech by Ronald Reagan, which I reference all the time.
Applause for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. It might surprise you to know that the president I quoted the most on the campaign trail.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Ronald Reagan.
Well, I can change that in a hurry.
Oh, she's odious. You know, I know that. I'm sorry, Shane. She just can't drop dead fast enough. Feinstein, all of them. We've got these, and I'm not saying this from a position of being ageist. Okay, their age precludes them from serving because they are completely out of touch with the needs of the American public right now. Their needs are not aligned with the working class. Their needs are not aligned with the average American because they've been part of this rotten, corrupt system for so long. And when I say I can't wait for most of them to drop dead, it's not because I want to be unkind and wish death on anybody. It just seems that they've got so much power. You can't vote them out. So the sooner they expire, the sooner we might have a chance for some new blood in there that's younger, that is actually serving the people, that are not just beholden to their donors on both sides, whether it's Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, who I understand has Alzheimer's. I read a story not too long ago that there is a pharmacist in Washington, D.C., who says he is regularly filling Alzheimer's illness prescriptions for members of Congress. Why aren't we allowed to know who those Congress people are? Isn't that dangerous to how the business of the people is legislated and taken care of?
Absolutely. Also, the poll is done. Would you like to read the results of the poll?
Yeah, let me take a look here. Holly Horn, but we represent them. We feed them. Do you feed them? We represent and feed them. Yeah, Holly, you're absolutely right. So the results of the poll, what? 41%? Come on, only 34 votes? Okay, so what I want to know in the live chat is, I want to hear from the people who don't think that Andrew Cuomo killed people, and explain to me how and why you think his actions, his negligence, his covering things up was not responsible for those deaths. That's what I want to hear.
Right.
Unless it's a rigged poll and there are some Cuomo-sexuals jumping in to to protect him. I don't know.
Right. Let's see what the chat says. We'll give you guys a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have. I want to give a shout out to Sam. He's the media director at KRTD Media. Wow, that poll swung. Yes. 90% yes when I voted.
Interesting. I don't see anybody in the chat defending Cuomo, which makes me think that we've got some trolls that decided, thank you, War Dear, that decided to come in and slant things for Don Cuomo.
Right.
Don Cuomione. So Amberly Griego says, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Amberly, when you send known COVID patients to a nursing home, forcing them to leave the hospital, yes, you're killing people. You know, we're facing something, I would say, almost similar here in Chicago right now with our public school crisis. The mayor wants all the teachers to go back to school, whether after 5 days they're sick or not. We don't have contact tracing. Our schools are not properly equipped with the ventilation or the what do they call it? The masks and all of the PPE that was supposed to go to them. And the teachers proposed remote learning, which is a very fair trade-off. Until we sort all this stuff out, let's do remote learning. And what did Lightfoot do when the teachers did not go back to school? She shut off the remote learning, so the teachers are literally locked out from being able to teach the kids who are stuck at home. And I would say, when you've got the rise of Omicron here, what Lightfoot's doing, trying to force people into a dangerous situation, isn't that far off from what Cuomo got away with in New York.
Exactly. We have two people in the chat.
Okay.
If you scroll up, giving their defenses.
Okay, so Sam Hollenbeck, how were the Republicans responsible?
No, that's not Sam. That's John.
I'm sorry. Cuomo couldn't control the legislature, and that's why people died. When he's calling people in the middle of the night and threatening them, to do things? You don't think that this is a guy who's got control over those who are working under him?
The Republicans couldn't be stopped in legislature. The Democrats have a majority in the legislature in New York, a significant majority. So we got 3 people. I'm going to bring up the comments.
So Holly says they spent the money on police. That's what our mayor is doing here in Chicago too. She threw all of our COVID relief money last year, 60% of it to police overtime, instead of where it should go to the schools. And one of the issues here is like we need to get internet as a public utility so that every household where there are kids can do remote learning. They had so much time to prepare and plan for this, and they didn't. And it's kind of similar to what I see Cuomo did. They had the time to prepare and plan, and he just did what he wanted to do. Okay, so Amber Lee says nursing homes across the board, across the country, are perpetually understaffed. Yep. Only made worse by COVID. Infection control goes out the window. The protocol of PPE and quarantine takes so much time. Oh, Holly, that was what you were talking about in Chicago. Yeah, yeah. So you're following I don't know if Holly's from Chicago or not, but yeah, if you're following what's going on here, that's exactly, yeah, I got you.
Holly's from New York.
Okay.
She probably does. I think she watches Chicago Corner though. So.
Oh, cool. Thank you for joining us, sir.
There's one. What about the Republicans? How could Cuomo be responsible? The Republicans don't have a majority in New York at all, really anywhere, except for, and I wouldn't even.
Are they people claiming that Republicans had control over what Cuomo did? Is that what they're inferring here? Come on. This is not political. This is not about politics, Republican or Democrat. He's a fucking scumbag who just decided he was going to do what he wanted to do, which was convenient and expedient. This is not a party issue. This is an integrity. This is an issue of sociopathy, I would say.
Exactly.
And he hid the facts. Eminence front. Cuomo knew what was happening. He knew he didn't have to help hide the facts. He could have spoken out and not written a book to contribute. Blood money. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. It's disgusting. He killed those people. No, that is not who you are. You're going into timeout now. Put user in timeout. We have somebody claiming to be a member of our staff, and this account has done that before. You're not getting mod. You're going into timeout.
Is this one of those crazy people that wanted us over at Chicago Corner to hold you accountable for because they couldn't control their volunteers, that they felt like they owned like slaves?
Probably one of those people. This person is claiming to be a member of our staff and asking for mod. So I put them in timeout because I know whose account that is. I know what their account looks like. This is not their alt account. And if it was, they would text me and say, I'm on here. Can I have mod? They wouldn't ask me for mod in the YouTube chat.
So Shane, let me ask you, since you're on the ground in New York, is there any potential recourse civilly against Cuomo, or is this now all done? He's just the prosecutors haven't held him accountable on a level of from his leadership.
There's going to be a minor charge, some minor charges levied against him, most likely, in which time those minor charges will probably, either go away. He'll probably have to pay a small fine, and then it'll all be done. He'll probably have to pay like a small fine, maybe like for him, like $10,000.
Then he'll go on to being a contributor on CNN. They got rid of his brother, but he'll suddenly become a Democratic emeritus in the party over there.
Right. Exactly. He'll end up, what though? Maybe he'll end up a contributor on Fox News.
They've got enough sexual predators over there as it is that they've had to get rid of. I don't know that they'll invite him on.
That's true. Well, maybe. It'll be funny. Or maybe he'll go on One American News. They're probably looking for some stars over there.
Oh, and the Idiocracy channel.
Yes. So do we want to go ahead to the next story? So you have something waiting to be shared.
Yeah. I mentioned good old Gary earlier. So, this I will admit, this relates to my identity as an AMC ape, okay? And the rest of the meme stock community, be it GameStop, be it AMC, actually be it any retail investor pool, people who are trying to hopefully put some money aside and invest to better their lives. We have been watching for the past year the blatant manipulation of these two particular meme stocks, AMC and GameStop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Volume is high all the time, but the stock is not going up. And that's because these market makers like Citadel and Ken Griffin here in Chicago, they control the order flow. And what that means is that if I follow it correctly, and forgive me if I follow along with me here as I go through it slowly, you buy shares of a stock and you've got Citadel as a market maker and processing the orders. Instead of posting the next day the value of the stock based on the volume for the previous day, what they do is they route those orders through what they call dark pools. Now, ironically, dark pool is not a phrase that people are using just to make it sound sinister. They're called dark pools because they are they are not publicly monitored. Dark pools were created so that if you're a huge company and you decide to take a big position in a particular stock, it's routed through the dark pool so that information is held off by a few days so that it doesn't cause ripple effects in the everyday trading and cause instability. So, quote unquote, dark pools were designed to help keep the market stable. But what's happening is entities and hedge funds or like Citadel decide if they're controlling the order flow for all of the AMC purchases in a day, they route those through the dark pool so that the stock price doesn't go up the next day. It goes up weeks later. And they're like bouncing back and forth with these algorithms and AI and technology to literally keep the value of AMC or GME. You look at the stocks, the stock graphs for AMC and GME every day. They are literally the same because they're being manipulated and controlled. Now, where does this bring us to Gary Gensler, who is the subject of our story here? Gary Gensler tweeted a couple days ago. Every year, here's where we bring up the graphic, Shane. Every year, thousands of American investors lose money to fraud and other securities law violations. In some cases, harmed investors may be eligible to receive money recovered from fraudsters. We have resources and info about some ways harmed investors may recover money they're owed. This son of a bitch, for the past year, he's been chairman of the SEC, knows what's been going on in the dark pools. Not only have many of the major networks been covering, financial networks, whether it has to do with the naked shorts, which means that you've got hedge funds creating synthetic shares to manipulate what the price action is, or the dark pools. Gary Gensler could suspend the dark pools for 30 days and investigate. He hasn't done it, but he's here on Twitter pretending he gives a shit. So quite obviously, a lot of people came out to call him on his shit because, again, the elites, those running the hedge funds, the Ken Griffins who are operating like gangsters in the financial markets, or who was it previously this year? It was Melvin Capital that was screwing around with GameStop, or Robinhood with that Bulgarian midget Vlad Tenev who shut off the buy button when things looked like they were going to squeeze. They're, again, like Cuomo, Teflon, nothing's happening to them. I went on to Gary's feed myself and I said, this fucking guy, he's laughing at retail investors when he posts something like this, because the SEC is aware of what's going on. Either they don't want to intercede because the markets will collapse like they did in 2008, but whose fault is that? It's not the retail investors' fault. It's the hedge funds that they have allowed to run rampant since 2008 without anybody being held accountable back then, except I think it was for one One Wall Street guy from a small hedge fund was perp walked, but the rest got bailed out. People lost their homes. And what did it do? It just emboldened them to continue with this kind of shit that we're seeing right now.
This is
I almost wish that Ken Griffin at Citadel pisses off some rich people, because as we saw with Bernie Madoff, the only way some of these untouchables get taken down is if they rip off rich people.
exactly. This is one of the reasons I'm such a big advocate for these consumer financial agencies. I mean, consumer financial protection agencies, when they're not gutted and when they're not completely useless and when they're not run by idiots. This is why I have my issues with Warren. I'm really pissed off at her, but I was in favor of her creating what she did with the CFPB when it was at its strongest. Trump gutted it. Biden didn't restore it, and she's been quiet about it. She let her baby get killed, and she hasn't said a word.
Well, because she's in a position of power now, Shane. It's like now she's
So
one
she
of the
doesn't need it
insiders.
anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. Can you pull up that screen once more? I want to share some of the other comments. This is from a lot of the regulars that you see on Twitter from the AMC community. Unusual Whales. Hey Gary, what about the billions that was taken from retail in January when the buy button was removed? Cat AMC, you posting this as your white flag. We knew after your blatant and deliberate silences that you do not represent retail. You failed your job, you failed your duties, and you failed as a man. There has been some schadenfreude to see how many people responded to this, because his feigned outrage or his feigned claim of wanting to protect retail investors is just such utter bullshit. Any chance we can have the money back that the SEC's actions have caused us to suffer? A few more. American retail investors lost billions in 2020 and 2021 due to SEC ethics violations. Now I get it. The SEC has been speaking in code. RIP retail investors protection. It's a dead priority. No need to speak in code because your action speaks with great volume.
Definitely. And Ed Heller makes an interesting point. It was gutted before Trump. It was, but Trump kind of finished the job of gutting that agency, and then Biden didn't restore it.
Yeah.
It was a process because they slowly gut these agencies. They slowly disempower the things that protect consumers. And I think that right now, a banker is the head of that agency, is the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, somebody who clearly cares about the consumers.
Yeah.
I wonder who's the head of the SEC. This guy is the head of the SEC, right?
Yeah, Gensler. Yeah, Gensler is the head of the SEC. So you've got the SEC that's not protecting retail investors. You've got the attorney generals in places like New York not protecting New Yorkers when they don't prosecute an asshole like Cuomo to make sure that other rising politicians recognize, no, you pulled the same shit, you're going down. Of course, I know in a matter of consensual sex, when it came to Elliot Spitzer, wasn't it that they decided to take down Spitzer because he actually was going after some big names, and they decided, well, let's take his private stuff and take him down with that. Interesting. Right. What they took down Spitzer in a matter of consensual relations with prostitutes, but Cuomo here can just get away with intimidating, threatening, harassing, preying upon women, and killing seniors, and that's okay.
Exactly. It's disgusting.
Cuomo, Trump, 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Who said that?
Peace dove.
Yes, I see that. Yeah, there we go. It's ridiculous. We have no control over these people. Let's not give him more credit than he deserves. The pro-business duopoly have been working together to privatize everything and screw over retail investors and consumers. Well,
you're right, Ed. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the only reason I thought that it was worthwhile to share this story on the show tonight was as we were combing through curating stories. I'm just like, it just pissed me off when I saw Gensler's quote, and I'm just like, yeah, right. You care about us, and you're out to protect us. What a crock of shit.
So what do you think about putting J.P. Morgan in charge of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau?
What?
I like it.
Who's proposing that?
Me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're kidding. Okay, I thought, well, look, the way things are now, Shane, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody proposed it.
Well, he'll be good to protect consumers in a gutted agency.
Yeah.
And then we should keep this guy in charge of that, or we could put some Wall Street investors in charge of this agency.
SEC?
Yeah, put a Wall Street investor in charge of the SEC. Put
Well,
a
how about
top
some
banker in
retail
charge
investors?
of the FCC. I mean,
Look,
that's pretty much
it's a politically appointed position. Gensler was put there because he was going to maintain the control that Biden and everybody else, I think, in the Fed want maintained. They don't want, the hedge funds are the ones who've leveraged things to oblivion, are the ones that should fall here. But goddamn, they're going to keep kicking the can down the road, not covering their shorts because they just cannot abide by middle class retail investors having some generational changing wealth.
Absolutely. So, does anybody have anything to say in the comments while we're going ahead to the next story? Because we're running low here.
Ajit Pai in charge of the Ajit, yeah, with the FCC, or as I like to call Ajit Pai, a shit pie. That's how I used to refer to him.
Well, so let's
He
go ahead.
completely gutted the FCC and the internet. What was it? He was. There was a whole lot of controversy when he was head of the FCC as far as it came to broadband. Where they were controlling, they were going to allow companies to control streaming speeds instead of keep it consistent. If you weren't paying more for your internet speed, your website wouldn't be seen by as many people. I forgot what the phrase was, but that's what Ashit Pai was responsible for endorsing.
Of course. So let's go ahead and show this video.
Net neutrality. Thank you, Ed. Net neutrality.
Yeah, net neutrality. So this is graphic, everybody, for our next story. This is very graphic, so you may want to tune out. This is a 2-minute clip, so if you want to come back in 2 minutes, when we're done playing this clip, you can come back in 2 minutes. And then we're also going to pull up an article with some of the details. But let's go ahead and play this. This is your warning.
These 3 targets I'd like to take shots at. This is horrifying. Guy's out jogging. Got 3 white crackers that decide to go hunting. Jesus Christ. My God.
It was less than 2 minutes, but that's what happened. And I'm going to pull up the article because this is Ahmaud Arbery, and the verdict came out today. I think it was today because this article was written a few hours ago. Yes, by CNN. I couldn't find anybody else who had written about it in quick while we were preparing for the show. So let's go ahead.
It's interesting. When we were preparing for the show, we were talking with Jimmy, and we were going through the list of people of color hunted, shot by others. The other one that came to mind was Elijah Maclean, the young man who was walking home in a hoodie, listening to music, shaking his head, and some idiots decided to call the police on him, and they subdued him. He was doing nothing. He was profiled because he was black, and they killed him. Apparently that is still pending, although they did file charges against those responsible for his death. And then we were talking about the little boy that the cops drove up and shot, who was playing with a toy pistol because someone from a window across the street. And then, it occurred to us, we can't keep track of these poor people's names because there are so goddamn many of them.
There really are. And there are Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin. That's who the young man, the boy was. Child.
So let's take a look at these. This is a picture of the 3 guys. Stupid ad. How do I
Click
this is
click
a
the
picture
close.
of the 3 guys.
There you go. Yeah, these piece of shit.
And
They're all dressed up now in their suits to look good in front of the jury, right? Look at how cleaned up and put on their good suits to look good. They're all a bunch of fucking hillbilly hicks in the back of the car that decided they were in the most dangerous game, pursuing and killing this man, murdering
so
this
a jury
man.
on Wednesday. This was Wednesday, so that wasn't too long ago. They've been found guilty on multiple counts as well as other charges. The verdict delivered by 9 white women, 2 white men, and 1 black man. I guess that's the jury.
There's some hope in the world. It was a jury of his mostly his peers.
Right. After more than 11 hours of deliberation spanning 2 ways, it followed 8 days of testimony involving 23 witnesses. Arbery's parents were there. The defendants faced the same 9 counts, and the verdicts were as followed. Travis Michael, who fatally shot Arbery, is guilty on all charges: malice, murder, 4 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal intent to commit a felony.
Shane, before you continue down, look at that side story that was up there and read the caption underneath it, underneath those 3 young men.
Where? Here?
There, yeah. Related article. I'd like to check that out myself. But demonizing black victims is an old racist trope that didn't work for the defense attorneys this time. I don't know how they could have demonized this guy. I think, well, actually, what Jimmy said, I think that the reason someone had called the police or had notified the rest of the community about the fact he was there jogging was he was jogging and he went into an old structure that I guess was being rehabbed or it was abandoned. And of course, because he was black, obviously he's up to something nefarious. And I think that that's probably what they brought up in the defense of these 3 shitheads, that, you know, it was, they didn't know if he was doing something to that was dangerous or he was plotting something. It's the same kind of bullshit Zimmerman was claiming when he shot Trayvon Martin.
It is. And then his father. This was a father-son activity. Gregory McMichael, who rode armed in bed of a pickup as his son pursued Arbery, is not guilty of malice murder, but guilty of the other 8 charges. And William Roddy Bryan Jr. is a neighbor who joined the pursuit and filmed Arbery's final moments.
Because that's something you would want to film and share on social media, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is guilty of 3 counts of felony murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit a felony. But Bryan was cleared on the charge of malice murder, felony murder involving aggravated assault with a firearm, and the counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. The attorneys say they will appeal.
Of course they will. Of course they will.
And Al Sharpton was there, it looks like, and civil rights attorney Esley Merritt and Ben Crump, and Arbery's parents. So, yeah, they're going to appeal. Here's Sam. One of the grossest things was all these conservatives in the comments trying to pretend as though this was not newsworthy. The case maintains the precedent that we cannot hunt people for racist sport.
Well, people didn't know that already?
Yes.
It's not a thing to hunt
Tamir Rice,
for racist sport, yeah.
It's awful.
Tamir Rice. Okay, so the boy with the toy weapon was Tamir Rice, and it was Trayvon Martin that Zimmerman shot. Again, you can't keep track of these poor victims left and right.
Really. The conviction won't bring him back, but glad to see it. The conviction of 2 cops in Minnesota, I think we're making some progress. Yeah, that's Lana and Sam, both part of the KRTD team, making comments here.
Peace Dove makes a great comment. Those 3 men is what hate looks like. Yep.
Yes.
Sadly enough.
It is. It is. So, yeah, I will. Do we want to go to the next story or?
Sure. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about these scumbags. At least as Lana said we're making some progress across the boards now. Oh, Oreo says hello.
Is he a guest host for today?
Yeah, he's our third guest host. He's sitting here on my desk keeping me company. He's always got, he sees me. Hey, Daddy, why are you looking at this camera? Why are you playing with the keyboard? He's got it. It's curiosity. That's what they say about people think. Oh, they're. I've heard people think that cats are just like trying to be annoying and get attention. It's actually they're not trying to get attention. They're curious about what we're paying attention to. As I understand it. Right, little guy?
Oh, there it is.
There he is. Carrie Barber, will I support you in your fight against KRTD media? No. I've said it before and I've said it again. You guys trolled my show Chicago Corner before New Year's or Christmas time, and I said no. What part of NO don't you understand? And this whole vendetta, it's like it's comic to me. Daniel and I thought this is just like a comedy routine. Look, Oreo just mooned Carrie. I'm sorry, Carrie. I don't know you. I don't know what the problem is. I don't mean to be disrespectful to you, but come on, give it a rest already. We're doing a show.
Yeah. She used to work here, but anyway.
Oh, Carrie used to work there? So this is one of the actual people that's all okay, I thought it was just a troll.
I don't know if it's her or not.
Okay.
But it might be. She used to have your First Friday slot.
I see.
Wait.
She used to do First Fridays with you?
Yeah.
I've replaced her? Is that why she's coming after me? What have I gotten myself into? I'm caught in the KRTD crossfire.
Probably. I don't know if that's her or not. I can't tell. She claimed it's not. I texted her and I asked her, and she said, "No, that's not me." Okay.
Yeah, it's probably somebody using her an alias to
her name and picture. Yeah.
Cowards usually use aliases and other people's names to deflect. So
Sam says it's not. Yeah, I don't think it is either. And yeah.
Sometimes I will not on LibriVox audiobooks. Occasionally I have filled in when Daniel and Kit need a substitute host. But I also live stream Tuesdays and Fridays on Chicago Corner, where Kit often joins me as a co-host along with Ed Heller. When the occasion pops up, I do go over to Hardlands, but they're pretty well staffed over there. I cover the local scene. They cover national.
How about this?
Daniel Lupker owes us a meeting about. Does he? I don't think Daniel's got you on his schedule book, Treston. Sorry.
Well, wait, hang on. I remember he said he bought 100 mugs. He would do a meeting.
I support you in our fight. It's like a holy crusade, man. It's hilarious.
Right.
I am on sometimes on Hardlands, but so what else we got here? Daniel owes us a meeting. That's about destroying KRTD. At my south side, I'm actually north side. Although I love south side, I live on the north side.
Makes sense. Whoever the yeah. Definitely, yeah.
So I just have a quick question. Not on LibriVox audiobook says I was spot on the whole episode. He saw me over at Hard Lens. Curious which segment I was talking about that you thought that, and I appreciate the support. I'm guessing it may have been when I was joining Kit for a segment, but I'm wondering which one he looked at. Oh, awesome! Thank you. Yeah, everybody in the live chat, can you show Chicago Corner some love? Come on over and go over and subscribe to it. Another window. Don't leave us here. But I'd love to have you all join me on Tuesdays and Fridays as we talk about stuff in Chicago. Sometimes we cover national stuff as it relates to Chicago.
That's fun. What are you guys talking about? We're talking about the news.
Yeah.
This is our Twitch audience. We're very new to Twitch, so I don't think our Twitch audience is quite used to us yet.
Oh, okay. So I don't know Twitch that well. It's more of a video gamers platform.
Yeah, we're on there though because why not? It costs us nothing. It's just
Yeah.
an additional plug into the StreamYard. Oh, Jimmy.
There's Jim. Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, we had a good conversation about what's happening with the schools being shut down and how the mayor is just this is a political vendetta that she's taking out on the teachers who've stood up to her in the past, using the kids as hostages in what comes down to a public health safety situation. It's not even political.
Yeah. Sam says, "Be right back." Subscribing to Chicago Corner.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, Sam's our media director. He's been doing a lot of work on the. He's going to be having a lot of work coming with all of our shows coming in March. And he just came on, so. Sam's awesome. So let's go ahead with our next story. What is our next story?
The last story is the Democratic histrionics over January 6th.
Oh, that's fun.
Mayor Lightweight. It used to be Lightweight. Now it's lockout, given the fact that she locked the teachers out this week from remote learning logins. Yeah, we also had breaking news about a ghost running for mayor. Yes, E. We did have that too.
Okay, Lana just subscribed. You're getting subscribers.
Thanks, everybody. We've got a lot of live streams archived there. We had a great New Year's Eve show. We had a fun Christmas Eve show. We did a fun Halloween show last October. So it's a lot of fun stuff in the archives if you want to listen to something while you're working at your desk through the days, guys and gals.
I'm already subscribed to Chicago Corner, Randy says. So she's subscribed. Okay. And
thank you, Sam. Yeah. It's been exciting growing the channel. I think when I joined them last February, I want to say we were at about maybe 650 or 700 subscribers. So I helped get it past 1,000, which I'm very proud of. What are you doing? Oh, he's knocking something around.
What is this? It's always been my opinion. The WikiLeaks. I think you spelled WikiLeaks wrong there. Like that Hunter Biden leaks.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. I agree 100%.
Wonder when they cover that. If you're talking about the mainstream media, never.
Never. That's what we're here for.
We doing a Valentine's Day show? Yeah. I guess KRTD is doing a Valentine's show now.
Oh, are you?
I guess we are now. Thanks. Good idea.
Oh, I'll have to check in and see if anybody needs a Valentine.
I have no idea what we would do for that, but I guess so.
That could be fun. Keep people company that might be Valentine-less on Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Anyway, let's go ahead and our next story. What is our next story? I don't even.
The Democratic histrionics over January 6th.
Right. So what's going on there?
And for those that don't know what histrionics mean, it means people crying and whining and complaining and using a tragedy to just draw attention to themselves. And in this case, I think their own, in this case, I believe it was to avert attention from all the things that they're not doing. And this comes to us. I don't know that there was really there was kind of a link. I think I sent you something. Ronald Reagan in a wig decided yesterday that one of the ways to commemorate the horrors of what happened on January 6th with police officers being shot and all of the violence at the Capitol was to introduce a medley that was performed by some of the singers of Hamilton. I don't know what the correlation was and how sharing a medley from Hamilton related to the January 6th insurrection, but there were a lot of histrionics the other day. Kamala the Cobra decided to come on and liken January 6th to Pearl Harbor and 9/11, where over 3,000 people were killed, and Pearl Harbor, where we lost. Look, I'm not downplaying the loss of life during the January 6th insurrection. I have mixed feelings about what happened and why it happened. But the fact that the Democrats are trotting this out and milking it to avert attention from the important things that they should be doing, but they aren't. I would venture to guess 15 years from now, if we're all still talking here, the Democrats will still be commemorating January 6th Insurrection Day to cover up for what they're not doing 15 years from now.
Glad I missed it, Holly says.
It was just so pandering, it was cringe is what it was. And you know, it's just pack and parcel, I guess, what they do. Yeah, there should have been some attention on it yesterday, but I think, and it is pretty obviously nauseating that the Republicans decided not to show up, right, to commemorate it, because for all intents and purposes, they wanted it all to go down and people to get hung. Although, you know, that we can, you know, have differing opinions on that. But then Dick Cheney's there with his daughter, Lynn Cheney. No, not Lynn. Liz Cheney. Yeah, Liz, who is the only Republican to break ranks. And, you know, the Democrats are there to, you know, embrace Dick Cheney, who is a war criminal. When you see Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney embraced by the Democrats, because for a moment here they have a shared opinion, it just goes to show. Look, the Democrats are the Republicans. The Republicans are batshit crazy, and there is no left to protect the rest of us or advocate.
Well, there isn't. And the other thing is, the Democrats are only buddying up with the Cheneys because Liz Cheney got thrown out of her position.
Yeah.
By the Republicans. She's no longer the number 3 Republican in the House. And for all intents and purposes, people, I might get some shit for saying this, and people might disagree with me, but the Bush-Cheney years were actually, in a lot of ways, were worse than the Trump years because they started wars.
They totally were. They absolutely were. And we've already, look how quickly Democrats have forgotten how quickly Ellen DeGeneres is to embrace Bush because suddenly he's taken up painting. They make him all cuddly and fuzzy because, you know, now he's taken brush to canvas to paint portraits of veterans that were wounded during the wars that he and Dick Cheney initiated, carried out. Every time I used to see Bush doing his, what do they call it? His rehabilitation tour, and they were giving attention to him for all of his paintings. I'm like, yeah, Hitler was a painter too. Funny how people forget.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know what? The Trump was bad because he was mean on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, look, Trump is just he's an embarrassment of a human being. He's a failed businessman. All right. He's a creature of our celebrity culture that elevated him and made all the people that watched The Apprentice think it was cool to be obscenely rich and you know, some kind of a hero by the way he ran his fake boardroom firing people. This is the cult of celebrity. He was a manufactured creature on reality TV. So quite naturally, people would embrace him and think that all of that was real and that he was that kind of business acumen that he displayed would be the, you know, you want to have a businessman running the country. Well, number one, the government of the United States is not a for-profit business. Therefore, you don't need a businessman in there to balance things for profit. The government's supposed to serve the people. So when people argue, we need a businessman doing this, that, and the other in government, no, because government is not a for-profit venture the way business is. And that's why so often when you see business people go into government, they horribly mismanage and bungle things anyway. So, you know, Trump he's just a creep. A creep and a bully, but you know, that's another thing that American society seems to embrace. You know, they like feeling protected by the big daddy strong man who, you know, primps and preens, and he's just such a phony. But getting back to your point about Bush and Cheney and Trump, yeah, I mean, as much as I dislike Trump as a human being because I'm like, you know, yeah, nice way to raw dog a porn star after your wife had your first son with her. Unprotected. I mean, what does that say about him? The way he talked about women. in those recordings that leaked. Look, none of that is important in the scheme of things. It's between him and his wife, but it just shows the low quality personality that he is, that so many people elevated, including a lot of Christians. It's because he was a suddenly conservative and on the right. Well, that means you're Christian and religious. So he's embraced, and all this stuff is ignored. And it's so upside down, Shane. We could go on and on and on.
Mhm.
But as it relates to Bush and Cheney, yeah, he was not, I think he horribly mismanaged and bungled the pandemic, having disbanded the pandemic team that I think Obama had left in place. But beyond that, which, it did cause a lot of chaos and disaster. I don't know what else everybody hated about him other than, what it is people hate about him. I think it comes down to this. Most people who occupy that office now, the presidential office, the Oval Office, are doing horrible, evil, disgusting, slimy things behind the scenes, but they keep a veneer over it.
Mhm.
You had Obama, smiling Obama, slick, smart, educated, a charismatic guy, bombed more people than Trump. Okay. Or you've got someone like the village idiot W during 9/11, who everybody thought, that's the guy we want to have a beer with. These presidents they put a mask of decency, a mask, not a real identity, but a mask of decency over the presidency. So all of the shit libs and Democrats who are losing their shit now, they hate Trump because Trump was bold enough to reveal that, no, the mask is taken away. This is what they're all like. But now it's out in the open. And it offended a lot of people who felt that the honor that's associated with the Oval Office was violated. Look, they're all scum. I can't think of the last decent moral president, maybe aside. I go back to Jimmy Carter. I mean, he wasn't a great president as far as how he managed things, but he was a good man, and he's shown it through his life since he left public office.
And he's not rich. So
and he's not rich. He didn't enrich himself. Exactly. Obama's got the Netflix deal, right?
Yeah,
Obama's got the Dick Cheney it was making money with Halliburton throughout the war.
It's like
Clinton
Ulysses,
and the Clintons, the two of them.
Ulysses S. Grant, I was going to say, he wasn't a great president. He was a better general than he was president. I know I had to write a paper on him, but he did not become rich after the presidency. Some of his cabinet members did, but he didn't. So you could be a bad president and a decent person and not get rich off your presidency.
Yeah.
Or you could be a good president and...
Trump's greatest sin to the Democrats was that he got elevated to office and they were not able to coronate their queen, who felt that she was entitled and probably still feels that she's entitled. She's going to run again. They're already floating the trial balloons. She's going to run again, and when she loses a third time, it's going to be everybody else's fault because she can't recognize nobody wants her, and we all see what a horrible candidate that she is. The fact that she lost to Trump, who was like the second worst candidate in history next to her, and they're going to do it. But when they lose, Shane, like I said, win or lose, they're going to be getting that sweet donor money still, because then they're going to be pointing at the Republicans again. And I think midterms are a wash.
We should do a KRTD Media Patreon boost. Yes, everyone give us your money. So no, just kidding. Hang on, I'm going to send emails from.
So Eminence Front says Hillary will not run. Ridiculous claim. You don't think so? You don't think with all of this attention she's getting, she went and read her acceptance speech on this
going to run
master class? She's going to run. They're already vetting.
I still have cable, and I still watch it occasionally. And she's putting out commercials like crazy on cable TV.
Yeah,
there's a reason for that. It's not because she wants to spend money on commercials. It's because she wants to run for president.
She wants to keep her face out there. She's trying to rehabilitate herself. And it's going to be, Biden's already got one foot in the grave. They bungled it with Kamala, who couldn't get one delegate, and nobody wants her. They think Pete Buttigieg has got a shot in hell. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a little internal civil war between Hillary and Kamala. That Kamala is going to lose because Hillary's camp helped Kamala, right, when she ran, even though she lost.
And Hillary has fans. Kamala doesn't.
Yeah, Yeah. So Hillary, there's going to be a short little civil war between Hillary and Kamala. I would venture to guess what's going to happen is Hillary's going to run and she's going to offer Kamala her VP spot just to keep her happy or to get her to stand down.
I think she'll give it to Tim Kaine again.
Really?
Maybe.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put it past her. She doesn't learn from her previous errors and foolish miscalculations.
Yes. So
Good
we
comments in the chat.
Yes, and we also have the KRTD people talking about how we get people to donate to Patreon. I'll tell you how. We tell people, we send emails from Shane's iPhone, and we tell people that if they give us money, we'll fight to get them money. You know that playbook.
Yeah.
I still get emails from Jank's iPhone, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I still get them from him, too. Oh, yeah.
Like, what do you mean, Jank's iPhone?
Send us money, Jank, and we'll get. What was it? Jank was last year. Send us money so we can help get you more pandemic relief. Oh, really? I thought that you and Wolfpack. I thought you lost your bid for Congress. A-hole.
Exactly. And the other thing is, which pissed me off, I donated a lot of money to them, and you know what? They hired these reporters, and then they fired their reporters.
Yeah. Well, Anna Kasparian had a pretty expensive wedding. Shane, I'm just saying. Around the time that they fired those reporters, did she get married before or after they fired those reporters?
I think was that when they fired Jordan Sheridan and Jimmy Dore and a bunch? Well, Jimmy didn't get fired. Jordan got fired.
Yeah.
A couple of others got fired with him. It was like 10 people, right?
Yeah.
And then it was Jimmy left. There was some HR stuff going on behind the scenes, and he basically told them to fuck off.
Yeah.
But it was Jordan and 9 others. If I could be wrong,
Jordan Jordan had a sex scandal, which really I question. I don't know if it was anyone's business because there was some question afterwards regarding the girl if it was some of it was consensual or not. But they used it as a way to get rid of him.
They used that, but that's not why they fired him. You know why they fired him? They fired him, and I would have. Well, I don't know if I would have fired him for this, but he was creating a project, and he was saying that it was a TYT endorsed product without talking to Jank or anybody at TYT.
Oh, well, okay.
And that was Status Coup.
Oh, okay.
This new thing. He was saying Status Coup is Young Turks endorsed, and he was doing that to get investor money.
It's sad he couldn't get the Young Turks to endorse him and help him as they should have, since he was a part of their. I mean, that says a lot too that he didn't think that they would be interested in giving him the support as a staff member there, as a reporter there.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, they fired their 10 reporters, and they owe me a refund because I paid for them to have those 10 reporters. I want my refund.
Well, I was trying to get my donation money that I sent to Bernie Sanders in November of 2019. They were supposed to send me bumper stickers and stuff that I didn't get till after he dropped out the following March. And I'm like, way to run a campaign. I donated money like October, November, didn't get anything to promote the candidate. And then I wrote him, I'm just like, hey man, he's dropping out. Send me my donation back. I didn't get anything to help Bernie. We're Bernie.
So did they give you your money back?
No, of course not. But I got the bumper stickers and the lawn and the yard signs after he dropped out. 5 months. 5 months to get the stuff that I donated for.
Ridiculous.
Well, now it's all collectible nostalgia stuff, I suppose, is what they think.
You know what they should have given an option. They should have said to everybody who donated at this point, you can either keep your money in and it'll go to the volunteers.
Yeah.
Or you can have your money back. And
I don't even know if they were paying the volunteers at that point. I mean, there was a lot of questions about Bernie's what's the word? His judgment as far as the staff that he hired behind the scenes. He hired a lot of people that weren't real progressives. They were more corporate Dems. And a lot of people suspect, those are the people that dropped the ball towards the end of his campaign.
Exactly. The campaign promo team dropped. Yeah, they did. Good night, Kay.
Good night, Kay. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to Chicago Corner if you haven't. Hope to see you there.
Yeah. So you got a couple of subscribers.
Yeah, no, I know I did. I appreciate it, everyone.
Yeah, so I think that's all of our stories, right?
That was everything we were going to cover tonight. Yeah. We're hour and 15. I think what was it, an hour show? I never mind going over time.
Yeah, it was an hour show, but it's 15 minutes, and there's nothing until midnight. That KRT doesn't have another show that airs till midnight today,
Okay.
so we didn't interfere with anybody's broadcast, which is the only thing I'd be concerned with.
What so you shared something with me today about the new KRTD schedule in February. Is that something that is shared? Do you want to talk about that now? Is that something you guys are going to introduce later as it goes into?
Well, we can introduce
more
that now.
solidified.
So, starting in February, KRTD News is not going to be different times every Friday, which is very difficult to do, when we have 3 different time slots that are used for the news show, because it makes it hard to schedule other shows.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern, and for those of you coming from the Chicago audience, 12 p.m. Central. Yeah. So we're going to do 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we're slowly going to add Saturday and Sunday because nobody does 7-day news. And we're going to have 2 to 3 hosts on each show, and occasionally we'll bring in contributors. We're amassing a bunch of contributors now, journalists and reporters and people who we can bring on when we're talking about specific topics who would be experts on those topics to enhance the show.
That's great. That's good. You've got your contributors that way. What expert contributors?
Yeah, expert contributors, and they'll be people. Sam, our media director, and is working on recruiting some of these contributors who will be experts in different fields. So we're working on that, but that won't be till February. We'll be posting the new schedule soon, and if anybody wants to see our show schedule, I'm going to pull that up real quick just to show you guys. Jerry, I'm not sure if you've seen this.
Let's see.
Share screen. This being shared? No. This is our website.
Oh, I think I have seen it. Yeah. Oh, no, I haven't seen the schedule, though. That's cool. Nice.
This is our schedule. We have so many shows now.
Yeah, you guys are building up a great network there. I'm really appreciative that you asked me to be a part of it.
Of course, yeah. So tonight we have a show called Fearlessly Authentic, and that's going to be at midnight, 11 your time, and that's by Lucky Burrito. You're familiar with her. You've probably seen her around.
I also contribute to another show for those that are all into pop culture. My friend Enosh Fee has a show called The Poindexter Lounge, where we talk about pop culture, movies, mostly superhero, Star Wars, nerd stuff. But every once in a while, not often. But you will see. I'll sometimes join their guest panel depending on what they're talking about. And they go really late at night, and they go really long. Sometimes they go like 4 hours. But I archive the panels that I participate in over at my YouTube channel, which everyone can subscribe to also, which is Nightstar Productions, NITESTAR, Nightstar Productions. And you can find all the guest panel stuff that I do there, depending on what you're interested in, whether it's Chicago news at Chicago Corner, national stuff with KRTD, national stuff with Hard Lens, or nerd talk with Poindexter Lounge.
And I'm looking at your page. I'm going to share this now.
Sure.
How do I see this? So this is your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Let's pull this up. So,
you don't have night view on. Mine's black. That's okay. It's very bright. I'm not used to seeing it that way.
Yeah. So where do I find these things?
So yeah, the first row is Chicago Corner and Hard Lens Media. Now you're on the row that's guest panelist streams. Those are the streams that I do with you guys or with Poindexter Lounge.
Okay, so this is Chicago Corner.
That's everything, up to date there. Yeah.
And how do you put these in here? Are these uploaded? Do you upload every single one of these videos?
Well, no, I don't upload them every time. I've got a playlist at Nightstar Productions, and what I do is I select the video from Chicago Corner to go in the playlist, or I will select the video from Poindexter Lounge or KRTD Media and just basically link them over here on my channel. So you can create playlists and select videos from other channels to put on your playlist.
Awesome. Oh, this is the first time I think you were part of a KRTD event.
I think it was.
With the post Medicare for all March
that's how we met.
strategy discussion. Yeah, that's how we met. And there were a number of people on that panel. I think you were on that panel. Let's just see. I want to just see.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of history for everybody. Who was on this panel? I don't even.
I think Savage Joy may have been on.
No, she sent in a video.
Oh, okay. Kit was. I think Kit was there with me.
And then also,
Yeah, there he is. Oh,
yeah.
we had Sabby Sabs. Yeah. And Joe
and Firestone and Reef and
yeah.
Kit. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good panel. That was back.
They're all good panels.
They are. And that was back when Reef was at KRTD, and he did an amazing job producing that panel.
Yeah. Very talented man. What does Jerry think of dump the incumbents? I'm all for it. I am all for it.
So
I am a video editor. So Fran, Sylvia's daughter, I'd love to learn video editing. Wardeer says download DaVinci Resolve. I use Adobe Premiere Pro when I do a lot of my editing because I work as a professional editor. I'm also a director and producer and writer and filmmaker. I've got some of my own stuff over on Nightstar Productions. People can kind of peek through also if they're ever interested.
Yes,
we've got E. Heller of the Volcano Party about who advocates, and I can't disagree with them about dropping Congress into a volcano.
Wait, there is a volcano party?
Yes, E. Heller is the chairman. Is the party head.
Is it a Chicago-based party?
Yes. E. Heller, you want to add anything to that? He will. He'll pop something in there.
Okay, I'm curious about that. And
it's a slowly evolving party, Shane. But yeah, it's volcanoparty.org. There you go.
Okay, I'm actually going to go to this website. I'm curious.
Yeah, let's pull it up and look at it. Yeah. It's a loosely affiliated national party. I think that Pegleg Sullivan is the co-chair. If that helps shed any more light on its legitimacy.
Ah, yes. Oh, wonderful. Is Ed Heller a web developer by chance?
I'm sorry?
Is Ed Heller a web developer?
Sure is. He's a great one. He's also responsible for 99 Perspectives on Hardlands Media's website. He's responsible for all of our graphics, all of our merch designs. Very talented guy.
Let's see. Solution 1, drop Congress into a volcano. Congress won't send out monthly relief checks during a pandemic. Drop them. No debt cancellation. No federal jobs guarantee. So is E. Heller an Does E. Heller know MMT? Because that's an MMT thing.
Oh, is it? See, I think I need to start a party called the Guillotine Party. That's the one I favor. I'm not sure.
If you're looking for a co-chair, hit up Rafe Breland. He's been advocating for that for a year. No comprehensive health care. Yeah. So you're familiar with the federal jobs guarantee program?
Am I?
Yeah.
Loosely.
So
what specifics?
So the federal jobs guarantee would be not Congress. So it's federally funded and locally administered. So anybody who wants a job is entitled to a job. And instead of doing a universal basic income like Andrew Yang and others have proposed, you would do a basic income for those unable to participate in the federal jobs guarantee. And the federal jobs guarantee would essentially pay a competitive wage, a very high wage or a wage good for your area, and would force the private sector to compete. Because why would I go work for the private sector at Bob's company or at this big corporation when I can go work for the government and I can make $30 an hour? Yeah. Now they got to compete.
Yeah.
It's based on MMT.
And where is this initiative stand right now?
Initiative. It's among the MMTers. It's nobody's. So just want to plug 2 books. So this is a book which is called The Deficit Myth, and this was written by Stephanie Kelton. She's an economist and she's a professor at Stony Brook University. And this is an MMT book, Modern Monetary Theory. Anybody who hasn't learned it, I highly recommend you learn. And this is the book I'm in the middle of right now. It's called The 7 Deadly Innocent Frauds of Economic Policy. And this was written by an academic named Warren Mosler, who coined MMT in the U.S. It used to be called Mosler Economics.
Okay.
And it was the federal job guarantee was one of Bernie's platform items. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember that rang a bell, Ed. Yeah. Because you stated that I lent my copy to Cabello.
So I highly recommend learning MMT because it'll shock your world on how Congress actually works. I don't have the Mosler book yet. You should get the Mosler book. Mosler book is good. It teaches the same stuff as the other book, but I'll just give you the basics. MMT. So, couple of things.
Thanks, Lana.
Yeah, a couple things. So, when do you pay your taxes for? Which year? When you pay your taxes, your federal taxes, which year do you pay for?
Which year? Well, I usually pay them in like for 2021. I'll pay them when the deadline is in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're paying your taxes in 2022 for 2021, where is the government getting the money they're spending in 2021?
From the previous year, I assume. No?
They don't use taxes to fund spending on the.
I remember someone telling me about that. Yeah. Our taxes, when we complain about where our tax money's going, our tax money's not going towards all the waste that we're seeing all the time.
However, at the state level, it is. It's currency user versus currency issuer. So the currency issuer is the United States government, the federal government. They issue the currency. Now, the currency user is the state or the city or the township or the town. And they're using the currency, so they have limited amounts, and they have to tax because they don't create money. So let's say Chicago. Chicago does not create money. Chicago uses the U.S. dollar, so Chicago needs to tax you and everyone who lives in Chicago in order to pay for what they're doing, along with federal money that they get from the federal government. But the federal government doesn't need your taxes to pay for anything. What they do is Congress creates money by law, and they use that to fund everything they're funding. So if we need money to fund something, Congress has to appropriate it, and then it's done. They just enter an amount into the computer, and that's it. Which is why everybody is so pissed off who understands MMT about why we don't have a federal jobs guarantee, about why we don't have Medicare for all, because it's not because we can't afford it, because this eliminates the argument, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? We have unlimited money. We can't run out. It's a policy choice to let people die. It's a policy choice to not let people have jobs. These are all policy choices.
Yeah.
I hope that's a good enough rough explanation.
I followed half of it. I would probably need to spend a lot of time reading the book to follow as understandably as I should.
But yes, I highly recommend the book, The Deficit Myth, which I have not read yet. I've started with this other book, but I know everybody loves The Deficit Myth too. So, and you can also get it on, as much as I hate to promote Amazon, Audible has this book, and you could listen to it.
That's how I prefer to what's the word, imbibe books these days, is through Audible.
Right. And
as much as I wish I could sit down and like concentrate, it's just too many distractions. It's easier to listen while you're working.
Jerry, the audiobook is great. Yeah, Stephanie Kelton reads it herself. She wrote the book and she reads it herself in Audible, and her voice is so clear. Most people in Congress don't know her.
Of course. I don't know how most people in Congress read the bills that are like this thick the day after the night that they're drafted, like the Patriot Act. Interesting how ready that was. How quickly ready that was.
Exactly. Let me give you an analogy though that might help you. So if you own let's say you own a restaurant, right? A pizza restaurant in Chicago, and you're issuing coupons. Can you run out of coupons?
Yeah.
Think about it for a second.
Well, you could print more. Are you talking about like the supply yeah, you can run out of them.
But yes, but no, because you can run out of the resources, but you can print as many coupons as you want because you're creating the coupons and you're issuing them.
Oh, I understand that. I misunderstood your question. I thought like within a given day, yeah, you can give out coupons all day long, but if the printed supply you have runs out, then you're going to have to go make more. So yeah, I know you can make more. I just didn't know what time frame you're talking about.
Exactly. So if you're running a restaurant, you can give out as many coupons as you like, in theory. You can.
Or if you're a hedge fund, you can create as many synthetic shares in a stock as you want.
Yes. Here's a good one. Here's from Jimmy. You're the point keeper at a baseball game. Can you run out of points to give to the teams?
No.
Mm-hmm. That's why the federal government can't run out of money. They create it.
Yeah. Well, I could never imagine the federal government actually running out of money, given how they always seem to have it when they need to spend it on something except emergencies. Then they don't. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it?
MMT. If you learn MMT, it'll shock your world because it'll piss you off even more about why the government.
As if I don't have enough to be pissed off about.
How about, here's one from Amber. Does the stadium recollect tickets to sell them again?
No.
No, they just issue new tickets.
No.
Oh, wow. Hi from Norway.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's MMT in a nutshell. And those are so many analogies that I just used to explain it.
Ha.
But it's essentially currency issuer is the U.S. government, and currency user is a state, city, municipality, town, because Chicago can't make money.
So, Plofisk from Norway, how are you guys? We're good. So, how did you find us, Plofisk?
They're on Twitch.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, there's a good one. The banker creates as much money as he wants in Monopoly. Yeah, Monopoly. Haven't played Monopoly in years.
Well, you can run out of money in Monopoly. Then you
Monopoly.
have to start writing it on paper, though.
Scrolled in the politics section.
Nice.
Awesome, yeah. So that's MMT in a nutshell. But
And how are and Plofisk, how are you enjoying the shit show of America from Norway, which I understand is like an ideal country? We wish that we could model some of U.S. society after.
Are you enjoying
Oh,
the
nice.
healthcare in Norway?
Yeah, they take care of their citizens there.
Mm-hmm. They do. So you guys have healthcare.
Yeah.
So Plofisk, if you go to the KRTD website, and we always stream to Twitch. We're also on YouTube, Twitter, etc. This is the KRTD website. This is higher taxes. No, Plofisk, it wouldn't be higher taxes because you also have unlimited money. There's another reason they'd have higher taxes there, in Norway. I think Norway is.
It's higher taxes, Plofisk, but what you might not know about the American system is that even if we were charged more money that they say our taxes are going to pay for our health care, we would still be paying less if it came out of our taxes than if we're paying private insurance vampires that routinely deny us health care, even though people are paying premiums for it. At least in a government-run system, they wouldn't be denying the care that private insurance companies routinely do and also charge more money for.
Exactly. And they have higher taxes for a different reason, I'm sure. I don't know the situation in Norway. I'm not.
Good night, Amberly.
Good night. Yeah. I'm sure someone come on another day. We'll bring on an economist for you, Plofisk. Hopefully you'll catch it. And we'll bring on an economist to talk about the situation in Norway. I'm sure somebody knows. But I'm sure it's a hell of a lot better than it is here. Okay. I'm an MBA student at my 5th year, yet I do work for private healthcare. So they do have private healthcare in Norway.
Okay.
No offense, Plofisk, your job is really unnecessary.
Well, let's not dismiss them. No,
I'm kidding.
Not,
I'm kidding.
Not.
No, but you could easily do the same job for the government, I'm sure. But I think they do still have private healthcare in Norway, but I don't think it's the same.
Maybe it's for elective procedures.
Probably.
Could you clarify that?
Yeah, is the private healthcare in Norway for elective procedures? That's a good question. Or it might be additional healthcare, rehabilitation.
Okay.
They have both. Yeah,
So
they
by
do.
rehabilitation, you mean like physical therapy and aftercare?
Yeah, because I'm thinking that's what they mean. Because Canada also has gaps in their system
Yeah.
because they don't cover prescription medication, they don't cover dental and vision, and that's tied to jobs usually.
Yeah, as it is here.
Well, here everything is tied to job, but
That's why. Yeah, that's why they. That's how they control you. Although people got wise during the pandemic when they got some relief at how abused they all normally are. Yes,
yeah,
an addiction. He says. Okay.
makes sense. All right. So Plopus, I just sent in the chat our calendar. I'm going to send it one more time so you can check out KRTD shows. This is our show schedule, and you can come back and check out our shows anytime. We welcome you here, and you can also, if you want to see more of Jerry, you can go to Chicago Corner on YouTube. Are you on Twitch too, or no?
I'm not. No, I don't think we're on Twitch. No, but or Nightstar Productions, NITESTAR on YouTube.
Let me get Night
I think
Star
it's one
Production.
word. Nightstar. Yeah, Nightstar. There's no underscore.
So let me send you this. If you want to catch more of Jerry, he's over there.
Yeah.
You can check out Stephen Hale. Well, Stephen Hale's on KRTD's channel. They're an economist who does a show for us. So that's on the show schedule. Anyway, so I just put links to all of.
Thank you for sharing and subscribe to both people, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. It's getting kind of late, and we have a show starting in 10 minutes. So everybody check out Fearlessly Authentic in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Shane. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Good night.
Private healthcare is very important in Norway, by the way. It's not only to shorten the wait, but also keep the healthcare competitive. Very interesting. I'm not a Norway expert, so I don't know. Bye, everyone. Oh, that was an go.
Hey. Good job.
Bye, everyone. I'll play.